You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Sometimes it's gonna work out and sometimes it's not. What up, Drone U? What up, Drone U?
Shiver me timbers is a galactic pirate ferry of the galaxies that juggles.
Oh, Drone U. Yo, dudes. This is the Galactic Ferry. This is a Galactic Ferry. Calling, talking to you guys from South Beach, Florida, where the sun's up and the surf's down. Surf's down. I had a question, you guys. Has to do with some juggling. Sometimes I can juggle 4. But when I can't, I'm left with only 3. And 3 is good for juggling, but it ain't good for droning. Can't juggle 2? Well, I guess you can. But it's not really about juggling, it's about droning. I'm gonna be building a custom quadcopter, doing some extreme things, man. Go fast. The Phantom, flowing it, too slow. Some of the custom quads I made, fast enough, but doesn't lift the cameras I need. I got cameras, yo. I got cameras for days. I need a nice, reliable copter that I can trust those on. See, now I'm talking like the Southern guy again. This ain't right. I need to be real safe. In case something happens, I lose a motor, ESC, prop, Ella. I want to build a custom quadcopter, A3 flight controller, so I get those safety backup features that it's got. 3 compasses. I can do that fancy GPS hoo-ha you guys are talking about, so I can be flying close to all them trees and all the bridges and stuff I'm going to be flying under. Gnarly stuff, bro. So my question to you guys was, what's going to be the safest rig, bro? Is it going to be an X8? Is it going to be a hexacopter, an octocopter, a Tri-6? I don't know, so many choices, bro. My head's going, it's going numb, bro. What's the safest? What's the most stable? I need to keep my little babies safe, man. My little darlings. And I want that flight to be smooth. Smooth. Super smooth. I don't know, guys. That's where you guys come in. As for me, I'm just gonna keep juggling. Peace. Ready for the juggle behind the back? Ta-da! I forgot to talk my accent. Oh, man.
Well, Rob, that has to be the best,
scariest,
most entertaining,
most frightening
question we've ever had. Oh, I'm so happy to see that.
Oh, man, that behind the back juggling was impressive. That was some sweet skills.
Here's how
right
I juggle
there.
4, and now I'm down to 3. Look how that went.
Oh, Marco, you made us laugh. Appreciate that. That was good.
You definitely made us laugh.
With that.
Marco, dude, you're the man. You know why he's the man? Because he did that on camera, sent it in, and said, blast it out. He has no fear. That's why he should be respected.
And by the way, Marco, if you're listening to this, we need your address to send you that case that we promised you, because I emailed him and said, let me know your address so we can send you the case, and I've not heard back.
Oh, I emailed him and said, hey, we may need to delete a few scenes out of this video.
Yeah, we got a little bonus with that video.
We're going to keep it to ourselves.
Yes, we are.
But anyway, guys, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. We have been asking for awesome, silly, wondrous questions, as I would say.
Wondrous. We haven't heard from him in a while.
Quad Guy 27.
Yeah,
no, we haven't.
where has he been?
Anyway, it's a great question, and we wanted to make this a little bit more fun and entertaining. So there you go. If you're listening in your car, if you're listening while walking, you're in the gym, go to our YouTube page right now and check out that video question. This is episode number
379. Had to look.
So 379, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, 379.
All right, so his question, if I understood it correctly, was I want to build a custom build. It's got to be faster than what's out there.
Yep, need something fast.
I need something stable.
Decent payload.
But I need something very agile.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Flying through trees and such.
Yes, and he mentioned a couple different things. He said, should I do a hex? Should I do an octo? Should I do a quad? Just so you know, the main differences between quads, hexes, and octos is number one, redundancy. A hexacopter has more redundancy than a quad. Octo has more redundancy than a hex. It also has to do with payload capability. An octo is going to have more payload capacity than a hex, which is going to have more payload capacity than a quad.
Would you say that redundancy is even more important for a drone that you're going to build?
Yes.
Relative to, say, DJI. I mean, we just don't hear about motors going out on a DJI product generally.
No.
But
you
on
don't.
something that you build, just because you built it.
Are you trying to say my drones crash a lot?
Nope. I'm just saying human error is more prevalent
Sam's shaking his
in a
head over
build.
there.
And so that redundancy might be more important.
I think the redundancy is very, very important. I like how he was like, I want to get that A3 flight controller with all the multiple compasses and IMUs. The beauty of that flight controller system, which I'm not even sure if it's available yet, is the fact that, yes, it has multiple IMUs, it has multiple compass pucks. Yes, you have multiple forms of redundancy. Honestly, after building a Y6 myself and trying to get exactly what he was trying to do, I would just buy a DJI. Because if you...
Really? Which one?
I had the M600,
Yeah.
and I would just jack up all the gains to make it really fast.
So, no, that brings up a good question because the M600, that's the Matrice, right?
Yeah.
How much is that going to cost?
$4,500 for the frame.
Okay, but built out, minus the payload, the cameras.
Probably like 10 grand.
10 grand. Okay, so if you were to build one on your own and really soup it up, what's that going to cost?
If we would have got a good gimbal for ours,
Good
So if we
gimbal,
would've just
good
gotten-
ESCs,
so we spent, what, 33?
something like that.
So good ESCs would have been 85 to 100 each. We'll just call it 100, and we needed 6 of them, so we would have been 3,900. And then sticking a Ronin under that setup would have cost us 1,400. So we're at like, what, 5,300-ish area. So you can build one through and through for 5,400. So you can definitely do it cheaper.
You can do it cheaper, of course. I would imagine there's more room for error in the one that you
There's
built.
more room for error. It's going to take you a astronomical amount of time to build it. Yes, you'll get the pride that you built it, but when you have to figure out what's wrong with it, man, you're going to hate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. The
I mean,
troubleshooting on that thing.
I say that, but a tinkerer would probably say the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So if you're a tinkerer, and there are tinkerers out there, I mean, Doug Lafarge, perfect example of a tinkerer. He would be like, oh, dude, I would just love figuring it out. You know what I mean? Like, and his not everyone's the same, and that's okay. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Absolutely.
But let's talk a little bit about what you should be considering if you are considering building your own custom drone. There are a few things you need to consider before you even build it. Where do you live? What's the elevation and barometric pressure?
Okay.
Why do I say that?
So he lives South Beach?
That's right. He lives in
He's
Florida.
in Florida, Miami
so
area,
he's
I
not
think.
going to have very many issues. When you get in higher elevations, you have more issues because the air is thinner and the motor has to work harder to produce the same amount of lift. So when you are looking for that magical ESC motor prop combo, you really need to focus the environment you live in. Because if you live in Denver versus Florida, you're going to need, say, on a hexacopter, a 15x7 instead of a 15x5 prop.
Right.
And that really is just showcasing the difference in the pitch of the blade. So a 7 is going to have a more aggressive pitch,
Okay.
whereas a 5 is going to have less aggressive pitch. You want the more aggressive for higher altitude flights because you need to be pushing more air down in the same number of rotations.
Okay.
Now, when you are building a drone, again, the most important relationship is the ESC motor prop combo. When you buy a motor, it's going to tell you a couple things about the motor. Max amperage draw. It's going to give you different temperatures that the motor will run with different sizes of props so you can figure out which prop size you truly want to run. Here's some advice I can give you, my friend. Number one, always overestimate the ESC size that you need. So the motors will say the max draw amperage. And so this max draw amperage is 26 amps for this. So if I were to be, slightly conservative, I would say, we need a 30 amp ESC.
Okay.
We bought 55 amp ESCs and fried all of them So they were not very good ESCs, though. It was the quality of the ESC.
Yeah.
And a lot of ESCs will say they can run certain amperages, but they can't. But now we're going to be moving to Castle Creations ESCs, and we'll probably get a 55 or 60 amp ESC for these motors because, one, where it's super high elevation. Two, they're going to get really hot, so you want to be able to run more amperage through your ESCs. And also, the other things that's going to be affected by your prop motor ESC combo is your payload capacity.
Right.
So now, Peter taught that class where he was talking about the magical thrust to weight ratio and how you really want like a 3 or a 5 to 1 if you want a really fast bird that is reliable and stable. You want a 5 to 1 thrust to weight ratio for each motor pod.
Okay.
So that means you really have significant lifting capabilities.
How much? Let's say it's an octo.
If we had an octo with these motors, which are 41, 10, 340s.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
Nope.
Okay, so the first number, the 41, is the diameter in millimeters.
Okay.
So it's 41 millimeters wide.
Okay.
The next number, the 10, is the height.
Height. Okay.
Now, why is that important?
Just because of the, I don't know, size of the motor is going to relate to the power.
That's right, like other things, and
Yeah.
weight and size.
Yeah.
Anyway, the taller or longer it is,
Okay.
the more power you're going
Right.
to have, like other things in real life. Anyway, no, but really, if you have a taller motor, you will get more torque,
Okay.
which means that the motors will run at a cooler temperature. You'll also have higher payload capacity. And overall, it's going to act like your motors are going to perform much better. If you notice the difference in the Inspire 1 and V2, if you look at the motors, they're just a tiny bit taller, a little bit more torque to carry that X5 camera.
And so the trade-off, let's say you want to get a little bit bigger motor and get a little bit more torque. The trade-off is less battery time?
Less battery power. That's
Okay.
right. Less endurance. So, you have a couple things you're trying to calculate for, which is endurance, payload. Endurance is flight time. Payload is how much you can carry. But also, you're not going to have a linear regression of battery power usage, essentially. So again, the type of propeller that you choose can greatly affect, number one, your payload and also your endurance. If I get a longer blade, I'm probably going to need a higher amperage ESC because I'm
Right.
going to be drawing more power out of the motor to turn the same to turn that motor on a different longer prop.
Correct. Okay.
So here's the thing, though. On the longer prop, I could get more stability and more payload capacity, but I am going to lose agility.
Right.
So you see how
And-
there's
and
a
so you're gonna-
relationship here between all the prop, the motor, and the ESC.
Absolutely.
If you want, I want more flight time and I want more power. You've really got to consider, all right, what kind of prop am I running on what motor for what ESC?
Yeah, and Marco wanted speed as well. So got to factor that into this somehow.
If you wanted to, okay, so I bought Sunny Sky motors because I've been told that they're made in the same factory as T-Motor and they're significantly cheaper. So I've been buying Sunny Skies for a while. If he built a Y6, and I think the Y6 would be his fastest option.
Okay.
Y6 is a hexacopter coaxial setup. Sky Hero makes a good Y6, but I would get the elongated Y6. It's a 900 millimeter class instead of a 700 millimeter class. If you were to get that Y6 with metal motor mounts, and you had, say, like a U7 or a U8 motor, 15-inch props, where he lives, 15 by 5 prop, and a 60 amp ESC, and you jack the gains up, you're going to have a really fast bird. And you're
Okay.
going to have something that can carry a decent amount of weight, maybe like 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds. His biggest thing, though, again, would be, his prop versus ESC. So,
Cool.
and different ESCs act differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot that goes into that. We had a class one time, and in the process of doing the class, we learned so much about ourselves.
Yes, we did.
Don't buy cheap ESCs.
That's right. Don't skimp. Find the money.
Don't skimp.
Going back to yesterday's podcast, make sure you have the money to do what you need to do.
Be comfortable because you make much better decisions when you're comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're in his shoes. Are you telling him to do a Y6?
I'm telling him if I were him, I would do a Y6 or just buy a DJI product.
Yeah, I guess that was your original answer. Is just buy an M600.
Well, and I mean, like, you know, there's the Unique has their big hexacopter. I haven't had a chance to fly it though. And then I've flown the 3DR Y6 and the 3DR Octo. I wouldn't recommend either of those. I will say though that the Tornado from Unique does look promising. It does look promising.
Good.
But anyway, yeah. Here's why I would not build one, because in the amount of time it would take me to build it, which I know for a Y6, working all day long and having all the parts and pieces is 7 to 8 days, 12 hours each day.
Yeah, it was not. Those guys were there for nonstop.
Correct. And we could have made like $15,000 if they weren't there.
Yeah.
So you really need to focus on what is your opportunity cost. What are you losing by saving money in your build? So I know that's kind of a hard decision if you're short on cash, but it may just be smarter to save up your money over time and buy something that's built. Because here's the other thing. What if you build it and then you break it? There's no warranty.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely.
That's the thing, is that you're running a business. You got to think about these things. So
Most definitely. And yeah, again, that time, I don't know. I think for that question, it just comes down to you enjoy doing that. I mean, certainly the money is part of it, but I think there are ways around the money part, be it financing it, whatever, waiting a little bit longer. But if you just enjoy building, then you might be the one to go do it.
if you just have a love for putting carbon fiber and metal together and making it all work nice and nimbly bimbly, then it's right for you.
Did you say nimbly mimbly?
Nimbly bimbly.
Yeah, if you have that, then this is for you.
Definitely.
Anyways.
Thank you, Marco, so much for that question. And I really do mean that. That was amazing, very entertaining. And it was a good question, too. So if you want to be like him and get a free GPC case, then guess what? All you got to do is record a video question and send it in to us. Again, special thanks to you. And guys, thank you again for the reviews and the shares. If you find this information helpful, please do give it a share, give it a review, whatever makes you happy. And I know it's only 5 to 10 seconds of your time to just click the stars, but it means so much for people to be able to find our podcast, and we wouldn't be here without you, and we're asking for your help again. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. As always, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.